So the Minnesota Vikings just got embarrassed by the LA Rams in Arizona. Back-to-back weeks of brutal performances by Sam Darnold. I want to get this out of the way immediately. Football is an ultimate team sport. I get that. I get the Vikings O-line wasn't great. But man, still, Sam Darnold has to have the awareness if he wants to be paid like a top tier quarterback to maybe be quicker in his decision making or maybe just accept certain plays and just throw it away to live to fight another down. A lot of those sacks were on him. Again, I am not saying the O-line isn't to blame, but just a brutal performance by Sam Darnold, man. Even on the touchdown pass he had to Hawkinson, that ball was way behind him. That was all Hawkinson. The lights are too bright. I really believe that. I really do believe that. And I just think they got crushed emotionally last week against the Lions, and they just did not show up this week at all. It's just funny how quickly things can change in the NFL and in life. I mean, we were talking about, a massive payday for Sam Darnold heading into this offseason. How do you pay Sam Darnold now, man? I could maybe see some sort of bridge deal, but if you're the Vikings GM, if you're a Vikings fan, how can you support that? How can you give a thumbs up and approve that? You kidding me? JJ McCarthy, warm up, buddy. Like, come on. I would do, if I was O'Connell, straight up QB battle again this upcoming training camp. Seriously. Like, I don't know, man. Sam Darnold has bounced around the NFL for a reason, dude. Because of the last two games. He's been inconsistent throughout his whole career. And yes, he's looked great throughout the regular season of this year due to Kevin O'Connell and due to the weapons he has offensively. But this is the wild card round, man. And even last week against the Lions, brutal, just brutal, seeing ghosts. He's never going to escape that mic'd up moment, bro. He's never going to escape that. That's how you start your first ever playoff game? Just awful, man. Awful. The Vikings fans, talk to me. How do you feel right now? How do you feel about Sam Darnold? Do you think they should pay him? That 100 plus mil dollar deals are completely burnt up right in front of him that whole game, dude. Like, come on, man. And that whole talk of JJ McCarthy being potentially traded, they're keeping him because, one, they need a quarterback. Two, he's on a rookie deal. So, again, like I just said, JJ McCarthy, warm up, buddy. Warm up. Plus, at the end of the game, they were also showing Daniel Jones, too. So, Sam Darnold, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Honestly, if I was a Vikings fan, if he doesn't accept some sort of cheap bridge deal, I'd be okay with him walking. It's like the Brock Purdy situation almost. There's no way you could pay Brock Purdy 50 mil. Even like 40, 45 mil is really cutting it. To pay Sam Darnold, again, some sort of ridiculous contract over one good regular season, and for the last two games to end like that, you gotta be completely straight out of the loony bin to just sign off on that, man. And that's another thing, too. A lot of talk about Kevin O'Connell and reports of teams potentially trading for him this offseason because he wants to get paid by the Vikings in the 2025 offseason. A lot of theories that Kevin O'Connell's team leaked all that information to push the Vikings to give him a good contract this offseason. So Kevin O'Connell's 0-2 in the playoffs, lost against the Giants, lost against Sean McVay. I don't know. Did he call the best game tonight? You tell me, man. I definitely think he should take some accountability for tonight's game as well. Absolutely. For some reason, he just does not like short passes. Yeah, he likes those screens every once in a while, but every route is just so deep. There's no just 5 yard slants, quick hitters, nothing like that. It's always 20, 15 yards deep. And when you don't have a great O line, and that got exposed tonight, and when you have a quarterback that just refuses to throw away the ball, you get a disaster. You just get a disaster, man. And you know what? I'm as guilty as everyone else. I definitely thought the tail end of the season, around the Seahawks game, I definitely thought Sam deserved a massive contract. Only because the quarterback market is completely screwed up. If Tua gets 50 mil and Trevor Lawrence gets 50 mil, why not give it to Sam Darnold? But I did feel really sick about the Lions game and was really curious to see how he would bounce back or perform in his first ever playoff game. And this is what we get. Vikings fans have to be really, really worried and disgusted, and at the same time, very thankful and hopeful for JJ McCarthy. So yeah, man, let me know if you agree with me. Would you pay Sam Darnold that $100 million plus deal still? Or would you sign him to some sort of bridge deal? Or would you let him walk? Let me know in the comments below. And I feel like the Vikings are kind of in a similar situation of the Green Bay Packers. You know, a lot of work to do in the offseason, absolutely. Lions are still probably going to run the division for the foreseeable future. And it doesn't matter if you have a 14-win regular season. You know, it's just crazy how quickly things can change, man. Just within a blink of an eye. 14-win season, only lost 2 games heading into week 18. And for the season to end like that, that's rough. That is really, really rough. The highs and lows of the NFL, the highs and lows of life. Man. I don't know. Must not feel good to be a Vikings fan right now. I do feel for you. I feel like it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz to a certain extent. We definitely all got finessed. So, shout out Sam Darnold. Shout out Kevin O'Connell. And shout out Brian Flores, man. I know that defense kind of, made some stops in the second half. That first half, real, super Swiss cheese, man. But if you want to look at the positive side, Brian Flores will probably come back to the Vikings in 2025, which is good. Continuity is good for competitive teams trying to take the next step. So to have a good defensive coordinator come back for the 2025 year is a good thing. I would be pretty stunned if a team hired him off of a playoff performance like that. But I still think Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator for sure. Obviously, Bill Belichick, disciple, worked with him for, 14, 15 years. Dude knows his stuff, but just a really disappointing performance from the Vikings as a whole tonight. And really caps off a pretty disappointing wildcard weekend. There was only one good game, thanks to Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield. Another brutal, boring, disappointing, frustrating game. But hopefully divisional weekend is a lot better. I'm sure it will be. But yeah. Definitely not the best taste in my mouth right now, and I'm sure a lot of you can agree with that. So let me know what you think about Sam Darnold and the future of the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, and everything else in between. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
And Ivory's got it on the handoff. And it's used there to meet him. Trying to establish the run, but there's nothing there here at the start.
Well, they didn't pick up many yards that time, no doubt about it, but that's a bad job by the running back. He picked the wrong side to run to. Nobody was blocked on the side he went to.
Picks up about 5.
The Jets do a good job that time on second down. They don't force the football down the field. They throw it short. They pick up some solid yards to make it a good situation for them. Third short. The defense doesn't want to give up runs like that, so how do they stop it? Well, they start crowding the line of scrimmage, so you keep crowding that line of scrimmage, look out, they'll throw it over the top.
The Jets go with 2 tight ends on this play. 1st and 10. Throws the pass. It's intercepted. And he's brought